Well, News Channel 3 got our hands on the IG's investigation. It was released to Congress yesterday morning right after shots broke out at the Navy Yard. It calls out top Navy commanders who coincidentally are stationed at the Navy Yard. So you still won't admit that there has been mold in any of your homes in the past 5 or 6 years?
I can't speculate on that.
And I know you can't comment on specific cases, but I really want you to look at these pictures and tell me, would you allow your family to live in a home with this in there, no matter what it is? If it is mold, if it isn't mold, these pictures, would you want to live in a home that looks like this? Would you want to be exposed to anywhere in a home that has this on the walls, this in the air vents, whatever it might be? Can you answer that?
Well, I can't speculate on that.
And there's a lot of questions that need to be addressed by the school district.
This is a police info.
So the superintendent is not speaking about it. A student gets raped in school and nobody's talking about it. We have to start at some point.
Yes,
So
yes.
Are we going to start that in this year's budget?
No, we will not. No.
Did you watch our letter from these guys?
I have not received a report of it.
So you didn't watch it and you're saying it's inaccurate. You're a military wife staying in military housing. Why'd you feel you had to do it?
I can't speak with you about it. Can you please leave?
And you've been charged with this before and found guilty, right? And you did it again? No comment?
Beach police say Cameron Crockett.
He drove drunk,
killing his friend.
Police are searching for a convicted man. Crockett
Has been found in Central America.
Cameron Crockett will spend 8 years in prison.
Today, that is where Cameron Crockett remains, with more than 6 years still to serve. But now a News Channel 3 investigation is uncovering new details that show this case might not be as simple as it seemed.
Virginia Beach 911, where is the emergency?
There's 2 people hurt bad.
We got one that's still breathing, but they're trapped in the car, and the one is in the back seat.
It was a horrific wreck. The car was wrapped around a tree. You know, looking to see who I could help. And the only person, I thought it was only one person in the car, and that would have been Cameron Crockett, who was in the back.
Did you see a seatbelt on him that night?
No, I did not.
It is my firm belief that Cameron is not guilty. After a review of the case, I felt compelled to get involved.
The problem with Cameron breaks and stuff. It's kind of a big deal.
Number one, why wasn't this done before? And number two, how did you get it done after the trial?
My client, Cameron, had always believed that if that seatbelt mechanism had been tested, that would be the evidence that would prove his theory of innocence. Why it didn't happen, I don't know.
You come to the stop station, but you're looking back here. Couldn't touch it. Couldn't touch it. That's all we were getting. The seatbelt was there, but they wouldn't let us take it out. And despite putting in court orders to be able to examine the car and have experts examine it, we were not allowed to touch anything.
It's right by the street. It's not like it's based on what you saw that night, could there have been a third person in the car?
There was no justice to it. There was no... Convicting him was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, because...
They could have clearly... the reputation he has, looking at these trial notes, knowing...
My assumption, and again, this is from memory, was that he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. He was thrown in the back seat by the force of the car.
I wasn't ready to convict him. To me, it was just so sketchy. They never proved that he drove the car.
Juries are looking for scientific evidence. They watch CSI on TV. They got the CSI effect. It says this seatbelt was activated, it was in use, it was activated at the time of that collision. His medical report said he had no injuries consistent whatsoever with a seatbelt activation.
That excludes Cameron. Therefore, he's innocent.
All rise. May it please the court. I represent Mr. Cameron Crockett.
Looking at this new evidence, would you have still convicted him of involuntary manslaughter? Do you think Cameron Crockett deserves a third trial?
But certainly there's enough information that in my mind would justify another trial. Now, whether he's guilty or innocent, that would be up for the next 12 people to look at.
News Channel 3 contacted Beach Police, the Beach Commonwealth Attorney, and even the family of Jack Cortez. All declined to be interviewed on camera for this story, but they tell us to this day they still firmly believe that Cameron Crockett was driving that night. In the control room, Laurie Simmons, News Channel 3.
It's a no-win situation. Well, I think the answer is obvious. That is, it's a monetary reward system. If the proper interval was 4 seconds before, it makes no sense that you would reduce it when you set up to enforce. If anything, you would give a little grace.
The yellow lights there in the left turn lane there are too short, and people are getting hurt on the 64% of the citations being issued at that intersection are for people doing exactly the same movement I did, turning left. It's just, it all seems unfair to me.
Everything we do about our PhotoSafe program works towards the benefit of the driver. We give them more time on our lights than we're required to do. We exceed the minimums in every aspect. This program is today, it has been in the past, and will always be in the future about traffic safety.
There's the camera. This is the.
You had the ability to actually lower your yellow light times at your left-hand turn lanes. Why didn't you do that?
The people that put the cameras up get paid. The city gets paid.
Now we asked Norfolk and Newport News to explain to News Channel 3 why they chose to lower their yellow times while other cities raised them, but both declined our requests for an on-camera interview, refusing to explain their decisions to the public. Laurie Simmons, News Channel 3.
Scotchy, come here.
They are sweet, eager to please,
up,
and ready to learn.
Good girl.
Squatch, Magnus, and Little Lucia are all service dogs in training, preparing to become the best friends and partners for these veterans who need them.
He's my little battle buddy.
Matthew Miller, along with Noel Delisle and Lori Lynn Wood, all served their country in war. And after returning home, they will be depending on these animals to live a normal life.
He helps me pick up dropped items.
To help me with sleep disorders and nightmares and night terrors.
But now a News Channel 3 investigation is revealing these service dogs and the legitimacy of their training are under attack.
It's just outright enraging.
By conniving pet owners who
just want to be able to take Fifi with them.
Parading their Pomeranians, Chihuahuas, or pugs around town with fake vests, fake IDs, and fake papers. So just how easy is it to fake a service dog? I decided to find out. And luckily at home, I had 2 willing applicants for the job.
Who's gonna be my service dog?
My dogs were both jumping at the chance, so let's stack up the competition. The winner is
Hercules. Come up here.
Tiny and whiny with an attitude.
How to register a service dog.
But none of that mattered when I went online. With a few clicks of a mouse, I found dozens of companies.
Oh, congratulations!
Willing to give me paperwork, patches, and a lifetime subscription to their service dog database. As long as I had a credit card, no vetting required.
Too many people that are exploiting the businesses that produce the false certifications. All they're doing is seeing a loophole, and they're making money off of it.
Just a few days later, I had a service dog vest and a service dog ID card in hand, ready to take Hercules anywhere I wanted.
Let's go out on the town, okay?
How much is that dog in the window?
And these businesses have no choice but to let me in because of restrictions put in place by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Brandy Eggeman trains service dogs for a living.
There's only 2 questions they can ask. One is this a service dog, and what is your dog trained to do?
They just know that if they had that certification that they could take their dog with them everywhere they go.
This fake certification is not only their golden ticket for public access, News Channel 3 also discovered it can be a gold mine for their tax returns. According to the IRS, the costs of buying, training, and maintaining a service dog are tax deductible. That includes food, grooming, and veterinary care. And since there is no nationalized standard for service dog training, the IRS doesn't make a distinction between the legitimate certifications Brandy provides and these fake ones I got online.
You are committing fraud.
And for somebody to take advantage of the system like that, it's just wrong. I don't understand how they can sleep at night.
Especially when those actions directly affect these veterans, because now their real service dogs are coming under increased scrutiny.
She gets looked at and questioned much more.
We have a right to be angry because you're taking something that could help.
So what's the solution? How can these fakers be stopped? These vets want Congress to get involved.
I mean, we need to change the laws.
Hopefully creating a legitimate certification process for properly trained service dogs, so these battle buddies can continue to stand by their side. In Chesapeake, Laurie Simmons, News Channel 3.